Hello, welcome to my video describing Cold War. My name is Ana Moguel and this is my activity number 10 for the class Contemporary World. The Cold War was an open yet restricted rivalry that developed after World War II between the United States and the Soviet Union and their respective allies. The Cold War was waged on political, economic, and propaganda fronts and had limited recourse to weapons. To get a better understanding of the impact of this problem, let's take a look at its timeline. 1945. US uses atomic bombs on Japan to end World War II. The two atomic bombings on Hiroshima and Nagasaki by the US, together with the Soviet Union's declaration of war on Japan, finally convinced the emperor to surrender to the Allies, effectively ending World War II. The use of the atomic weapons demonstrated America's technological superiority, but also increased existing tensions with the Soviet Union, setting the stage for the Cold War. 1948. Berlin blockade and airlift. After World War II, control of Germany was divided within the Western Allies and the Soviet Union. In June of 1948, the USSR attempted to gain control of the entire city by cutting off all of the surface traffic to West Berlin. The United States responded with a daily airlift of food and supplies into the besieged city. 1949. USSR tests first nuclear. The term Cold War was first used by George Orwell in an article published in 1945 to refer to what he predicted would be a nuclear stalemate between two or three monstrous superstates, each possessed of a weapon by which millions of people can be wiped out in a few seconds. It was first used in the United States by the American financier and presidential advisor Bernard Baruch in a speech in 1947. Each side of this rivalry had its own economic system. The United States used capitalism and the USSR used socialism. Capitalism, first proposed by Adam Smith in 1776, is an economic system under which the means of production are privately owned. Production and consumer prices are based on a free market system of supply and demand. It holds that private enterprise utilizes economic resources more efficiently than the government, and that society benefits when the distribution of wealth is determined by a freely operating market. Capitalism is most often criticized for its tendency to allow income inequality and the stratification of socioeconomic classes. Socialism, on the other hand, is an economic and political system under which the means of production are publicly owned. Production and consumer prices are controlled by the government to best meet the needs of the people. The idea for this system came from Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels' paper Manifesto of the Communist Party, 1948, when they proclaimed that in socialist society the condition for free development of each is the free development of all. Therefore, the socialist governments strive to eliminate economic inequality by tightly controlling business and distributing wealth through programs that benefit the poor, such as free education and healthcare. Socialism is most often criticized for its provision of social services, programs requiring high taxes that might decelerate economic growth. Now, for the interview part of this segment, my father, Alfredo Moguel, born in 1950, will be giving us his personal opinion about this critical time in human history. Hi, Dad.
Hello.
Could you tell us what countries were the world leaders during the Cold War?
Well, in one side were the United States, and in the other side was the Soviet Union.
And where did the Cold War take place?
Well, it really takes all over the world. It's probably, it's the Second World War. The First World War was the first global war, and this was the second global war, and it was the whole globe, the whole world globe were involved on it, and in the first and in the second, the whole countries, the whole civilization, and the result of that was the division in what we call Occident and what we call it Orient. See, there was the other side of the Iron Wall they call it
The Berlin Wall, right?
had the Berlin Wall and the Iron Wall. There was all over the border between the Union Soviet and the
US.
OTAN.
Right.
That was when it was born, the OTAN. The OTAN was born, I guess, in 1947.
Okay. And why did the Cold War start?
Oh, because where it was a road end when they finally get to Berlin, the United States, will say, the Allies, get to Berlin. They get to the city at the same time that they get the Russians, the Soviets, see, and then get in front of each other. Well, thanks God, they stopped the fire, and nobody said to start the fire. So that was the end of the Second World War, because Adolf Hitler was killed 2 hours before. And it started of what we call it the Cold War, because they were from each other, and pointing, but no making fire.
Right, there was a rivalry without a solution, right?
Yes, I guess that's the way we can call it.
Okay. In your opinion, what was the general public opinion about the Cold War?
No, the general opinion, I would say in my level, the people was around me, and I got to get to their opinions or what they think about it. I would say the most people in Occident will think that the
Now, having analyzed this period, I can say that it was necessary to leap forward as humanity, since thanks to the scientific rivalry between the two world powers, men were able to walk on the moon, something that only seemed possible in movies and dreams before that. Of course, like any other war, it brought destruction, violence, and death. But it's also true that despite the clear animosity and constant threat, none of the world powers took an irreversible step, dooming the rest of the world to despair by shooting their missiles at each other's people. Thing that, in my opinion, brings hope for us, since apparently our leaders do have a little bit of conscience and common sense. Regarding my opinion on which economic system is better, I believe socialism has the correct idea, but unfortunately it's, as it is with all systems of the kind, thoroughly corrupted. It misses its point in helping the people, like capitalism, only favors a very small group of people. What I think should be done is a whole new economic system that brings equality and justice to all, and this can only be achieved if we let go of our obsession with power and money and start caring for each other. With this, I say goodbye to you all. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you have a very nice day.